On Wednesday, Taliban forces destroyed 22 NATO supply trucks in the north end of Afghanistan. This was confirmed by both reports from police and from statements by the Taliban taking responsibility for the attacks. Now, it took place in Aibak, the capital of Samangan province, where 18 fuel trucks and 4 supply vehicles were actually destroyed. Now, this did take place in the same place as the anti-Taliban lawmaker Ahmed Khan Samangi, who was killed that Saturday at his daughter's funeral, his daughter's wedding, which in a suicide attack, which also killed 22 other people. Now, this certainly demonstrates that the reality is definitely counter to what the NATO occupying forces have been telling us. The hostilities in Afghanistan are not winding down. The responsibility of security being shifted over to the Afghan government is not going the way that they are saying it is going. Hostilities are increasing. Attacks are increasing as the U.S. public, not just the U.S. public, the Canadian public, and many other countries as well, their populations are growing tired of too many people coming home dead or injured as a result of this unjust and illegal war. And in many of these countries, they are doing it illegally against their own laws, not only international law. Well, this shows that reality is not corresponding to the opinion of NATO, who says that we can now start withdrawing forces, and some are arguing that we need to put more forces. The population of Afghanistan is not being pacified. The Taliban is not being pacified. They fail to understand something that the Soviets themselves did not learn when it was them that was actually attacking Afghanistan. The people of Afghanistan are not going to back down. They are not weak-willed people who will stand there and be occupied. It's just not going to happen. The will of the Afghan people is too strong. They will maintain their own independence no matter what. One of the famous lines that the Vietnamese said is that the only way to beat us is to live like us, learn to eat only rice, and stay here for 1,000 years. And I believe there's some expression that should be the equivalent to that in Afghanistan saying the same thing. The Afghan forces, whether you dislike the Taliban or really hate the Taliban, NATO forces are not going to win. It is literally an unwinnable war. The population of Afghanistan does not support the NATO forces. This just shows that regardless of all these statements, the capitalist class still requires us to be in that war in order to maintain what was a stranglehold is now a grip. Their grip on it is slipping away from their natural resources, particularly mining. That's the major interest for the Canadian capitalist class, is the mining interest. And we have a very terrible history, and currently the worst country in the world for human rights when it comes to mining. But with all that having been said, it definitely shows that the imperialists are not only willing to grind the Afghan population into the ground in order to get what they want, but the capitalist class is willing to grind our populations into the ground for those same goals as well.